So XRP and Ripple are one of the most controversial topics in the Web3 space. People either love them or hate them, but most people don't really understand them. So in this video, we're going to have a look at Ripple Labs, the company behind the XRP ledger, and then we're going to see how exactly transactions work on their blockchain and what their service is. So that would be the Ripple Net, the global payments network. And then we'll look at the reasons why people either love or hate XRP and Ripple. So this is definitely going to be one of the best videos out there on Ripple Labs and XRP. So definitely watch through to the end. All right, so Ripple is comprised of Ripple Labs. That is the company behind the XRP ledger. Then we've got Ripple Net. This is the global payments network. This is the service which Ripple Labs provides to banks and institutions that want to use their international payment network. Then we've got the XRPL, which is the actual XRP blockchain. And then the XRP, which is the native cryptocurrency which people trade. All right, so Ripple Labs is the fintech company developing payment solutions. They operate RippleNet, so they are in control of the global payment network, and they use XRP and the XRP ledger. They work with banks, regulators, enterprises, and crypto exchanges for the on-demand liquidity. So we're going to have a look exactly at how all of these components fit together. Then we've got RippleNet. Now, banks and businesses join RippleNet to send and receive payments. So actual banks will come to Ripple Labs and they'll use the service of RippleNet. It is controlled and operated by Ripple, and it is similar to Swift, except that it's faster and more transparent. We've then got XRPL. So this is the XRP blockchain. It is a decentralized blockchain. We'll explain that a little bit more. It is kind of centralized, but for all intents and purposes, we're just going to call it decentralized for now. And they use XRP token to send from one exchange to the other. So they use the token to transfer value between countries. They use a unique node list consensus mechanism. So this is sort of why it's not so decentralized. The unique node list consensus mechanism is pretty much the system in which Ripple Labs gets to decide who the validators are. So in that regard, it is quite centralized since they choose who are the validators. Then we've got XRP, which is the native digital asset of the blockchain, and it acts as the bridge currency and is used to pay for transaction fees. All right, now let's actually have a look at how all of these components work together in sending money from one country to another. All right, so let's say we've got Bank A in the USA and Bank B in Europe. Now, the objective is Bank A wants to pay Bank B, and they want to send dollars, and the European bank wants to receive euros. Now, this is sort of what the Swift network is fixing, but except it's very slow and very expensive. All right, so how does Ripple Labs plan to solve this? So firstly, Ripple Labs is the company that the bank goes to, right? Ripple Labs will direct them to RippleNet, which is their global payment network. This is the service that they're offering to the bank. So the bank will now send the money, the dollars, to RippleNet. RippleNet will send that through to the crypto exchange in the US. So this is one of their partner exchanges. So Kraken is actually one of the partners of Ripple Labs. Now, Kraken will sell the dollars for XRP. Then it'll use the XRP ledger. So the XRP ledger is where the XRP token exists, right? It's the native token of that blockchain. They will send that token from the USA exchange to the partner exchange in Europe, right? So in this example, it's also Kraken. So the XRP token is sent. Then the European exchange actually sells the XRP token for euros, right? Those euros will then be sent to RippleNet and to the European bank. So if you look what they've done here, they've found a nice solution to make international payments in a couple of seconds. The bank doesn't actually want to deal with the blockchain, right? They don't want to know what's happening. They want all of that to be abstracted away from them. So they just sign up to RippleNet. RippleNet has got all the partner exchanges and the partner banks in Europe, and they handle all the back-end stuff, right? So all the the US bank has to do is send the money. The RippleNet, so their service is already partners with the exchanges, so they will sell the dollars for XRP, send the XRP over. The XRP will then be sold for euros in the European bank, and then that will be sent to the European bank. So all of this is a quite good solution. Now, why is it that people either love or hate Ripple? So the people who love it most likely don't know why they love it. They just bought tokens, they got a good return, and for that reason, they're quite loyal to XRP. Similarly, the people who don't like it most likely didn't buy, felt the FOMO, and now want to justify them not buying by saying it's shit. These are the people who don't really understand the technical side of it. The biggest reason why people don't like XRP on a technical side is because it's not really that decentralized. The validators are chosen by the Ripple Labs team, and there is no financial reward for being a validator. So on Bitcoin or Ethereum, people become validators because they get a financial reward, right? They are incentivized to do so. Ripple doesn't have this. The XRP ledger doesn't have this. So it's never going to promote mass adoption or mass decentralization because there is no financial benefit in being a validator. Next is because there are 100 billion tokens of XRP, and 50% of those have been allocated to Ripple Labs, right? So all of the tokens have been pre-mined, and Ripple Labs allocated 50% of those remaining tokens to them, right? So they periodically receive these tokens and then sell it on the open market. So this is not so much in line with the decentralization because they have a big control of the tokens and they're going to opt to just sell it, right? So you will be the exit liquidity for them to sell the tokens. And then lastly, a lot of people in the blockchain space or the Web3 space enjoy the space because it's quite anti-government, anti-regulation, anti-banks, right? This is the solution outside of banks. Ripple Labs has specifically created a solution for international payments for banks and institutions. So the people who are not very pro-bank and pro-institution generally do not want to support XRP because it's counterintuitive and it's not in their sort of vision for the blockchain. And then the reason why people love it, they bought some, got a good return. It is a super quick blockchain and a super cheap blockchain to use. All right, guys, and that is it for our review of XRP and Ripple. If you got some value from this video, definitely subscribe to the channel.